Hi, my name is Christina Gadar. I'm a Pilates teacher here in Sarasota, Florida, and I'm also the author of 6 Pilates books, including the first ever Pilates textbook written for teachers with detailed information about working with children on the equipment. In today's video, I'd like to offer some teaching tips for working with children on the reformer apparatus. Now, one of the biggest concerns with working with children on the equipment is the use of resistance because their bodies are still growing, and we have to be very careful not to put too much body weight or too much extra weight in addition to their body weight and resistance on their joints. And simply dropping down to one spring setting on the reformer really is not always the best choice. The reason being that we're making the exercises much harder. It's really hard to bring the carriage in with just one spring setting, and it actually can be quite dangerous when doing things, especially done standing on the carriage while holding the foot bar. So I really strongly recommend waiting until children are at least 9 years old, until they weigh at least 60 pounds, so that they can work with 2 springs on the reformer. Now, if they have to slide their shoulders down from the shoulder blocks and grab the edge of the carriage to reach the foot bar, then they're probably not ready to work with 2 springs yet. Even if they have the right age and weight, they might be just too petite. And really, there is no hurry. There are so many other ways to do the reformer exercises in the studio that they can definitely do it in a more efficient way elsewhere. But if your student is still really curious about this apparatus and wants to do something, and you want to give them something to satisfy that curiosity, you can work with it set up as a jump board, and you can do Pilates standing exercises on one spring setting. And you can do it on 2 springs too, but even with younger, more petite students, you can do this. They can slide down, they can grab the edge of the carriage, you can have a sticky mat under their back, you can put some thin pillows under their head to mimic the headrest, and they could do standing exercises such as 2x4 footwork, prancing, marching. I would not recommend that they do jumping if they have to hold the edge of the carriage, because that would put a lot of tension in their upper body. But they can do a lot of things to satisfy some of that curiosity. So I'm going to have my daughter Thais demonstrate some of the standing Pilates exercises. She is 12 years old. She's been doing Pilates all of her life. And she recently, a few months ago, she fractured her ankle. She also sprained her ankle, which has taken even longer because it's a soft tissue injury to heal. And her gymnastics teacher has asked that she work on jumps on the jump board to not only build the strength, but also build her confidence when she's in the gym. So before we get to jumping, I'm going to have Thais show us some of the standing Pilates exercises. Thais, why don't you go into a Pilates stance standing with long legs. You can go a little wider and pull up in your thighs a little more. That's good. She's being careful not to lock her knees. Now you're going to do 2x4 footwork where you rise up onto your toes, gluing the heels together. Keep the heels lifted as you bend your knees in line with your toes. Stop there and press your heels firmly into the ground and then zip up. And after she does a few of those, she can reverse it. So bend your knees to reverse it over the toes. That's good. Raise your heels, keeping them together for stability. Zip up your inner thighs, lift and get taller, and lower your heels as you grow taller. So that is the 2x4 footwork. Now why don't you bring your feet parallel almost together and stack your forearms, lifting your elbows. You could pull up in your thighs a little more than that. That's it, and let's show the viewers some marching. So you're going to work on evenness in your shoulders and hips as you raise one knee up toward your body and then place the toe ball heel onto the mat. Other foot comes up and go through the ball of the foot, and that's it, and change. And you're lifting through both sides of your waist. She could also do this with her leg going to the side. There are a lot of variations. And rest your arms by your sides. And let's stay out here and let's show one more standing exercise, which is prancing. So pull up through your thighs, rise up onto your toes, one heel down at a time, rise up and change. Belly button in and up. That's it. And again, rise up and lower, and one more time. That's it. Good, and rest your feet. Bend the knees, take a little rest. Now I'm going to show you some of the ways we work on jumping here on the jump board. Again, don't do this if your student has to grab the edge of the carriage, but she's going to do this on one spring, and she has actually worked up to doing it on 2 springs too, but we're going to stick with the one spring. So go into your Pilates stance, stretching your legs, Remember, the important thing here is we're not letting the carriage come in all the way. You're going to bend your knees, and you're going to jump in the air, zip up the inner thighs, and go for more air time. That's it, and land. Jump, and work through the foot. And keep going without me. So you see on one spring, I can even help her suspend and help guide her through landing through the toe ball heel. And take a rest. And now let's go with this foot stays on, and this knee comes to your chest. You can hug it. And I know this is really hard for you, but do your best trying to keep the foot you're jumping on straight. Try not to turn out too much, if you can. Okay, just like this. And do 3 jumps, and then we'll switch legs. Up, that's it, and bigger. And change, that's it, and jump. That's it, even on this foot, try to stay a little more parallel. Up. Good, knee over toes, and take a little rest. That's enough. Good. So I hope that gives you a few things to take away. If you like it, take it. If you don't use it. But hopefully there's something there that will mean something to you. Thank you so much for tuning in.